When researchers present a gray wolf with an impossible puzzle box, the animal will paw, bite, and dig at the object. It attempts to solve the problem entirely on its own, relying on independent problem-solving instincts until it eventually gives up. A domestic dog responds to the exact same test differently. Almost immediately after encountering the obstacle, the dog stops, turns away from the puzzle, and makes direct, sustained eye contact with the nearest human. It is actively seeking information. This instinct to seek human guidance is deeply ingrained.
A dog's wet nose functions as a high-precision infrared sensor. It maps the thermal heat radiating from nearby objects and reads the concentration of chemical data to track the physical passage of time. While we recognize dogs as emotional companions, science reveals a complex biological machine. Their sensory tools are evolved to interface directly with the human nervous system. This integration began at least 14,000 years ago. Archaeological remains found across Western Eurasia show that ancient canines diverged from wolves to live alongside human hunter-gatherers long before the development of agriculture. This evolutionary split involved a centuries-long rewiring of canine anatomy and neurochemistry, physically shifting the predator into the modern dog. The behaviors we interpret as affection are actually a suite of sophisticated biological adaptations designed to ensure their survival within human society. To understand the depth of this bond, we have to look inside the canine olfactory system. A dog's nose functions as a mobile chemical laboratory.
This 3D model reveals the internal architecture of a dog's snout. They process air independently through each nostril to pinpoint the exact directional source of a smell. Inside the nasal cavity, the vomer nasal organ detects chemical signals and pheromones. This chart shows your specific scent decaying over 8 hours. Dogs use this steady decline as a biological clock, smelling how much time has passed since you left. Because their olfaction is so precise, they can detect minute chemical shifts inside the human body. They pick up on the biological markers of a stress spike before we even realize we are feeling anxious. Researchers utilize this capability in clinical settings today. Medical detection dogs are trained to sniff out specific volatile organic compounds associated with cancer, achieving over 90% accuracy in laboratory trials. A dog's nose operates as a highly calibrated sensor, constantly reading our physical health and tracking the passage of time through ambient chemistry. When a dog tilts its head, it is actively repositioning its ears to catch specific off-screen sound frequencies. Those ears move independently to construct a three-dimensional acoustic map of their environment. They supplement this map with their whiskers. These are hypersensitive tactile sensors that detect changes in air currents, allowing a dog to navigate physical space without needing visual input. This graph illustrates how dogs perceive the passage of time. As scent molecules decay in a room at a predictable rate, a dog measures the diminishing molecular density of their owner's presence to track how long they have been gone. When a dog anticipates an owner's return at the exact same time every day, they are reading the precise mathematical decay of that human's physical scent. This diagram compares the facial musculature of a wolf to a domestic dog. Notice the specific muscle highlighted on the dog, the levator anguli oculi medialis. This muscle's only function is to raise the inner brow. Wolves lack this anatomical structure. Their brows are rigid, making them physically incapable of producing the specific upward and inward brow movement humans use to signal vulnerability. These puppy dog eyes are an evolutionary survival adaptation. Dogs developed a specialized facial muscle for the explicit purpose of triggering a nurturing, protective response from humans. These two charts display a dog's brain activity during different states. MIT researchers found that the specific neurons firing while a dog is awake will fire in the exact same sequence when they enter REM sleep. Because dogs spend their waking hours heavily focused on the humans they live with, researchers at Harvard concluded that dogs primarily dream about their owners. When humans and dogs hold extended direct eye contact, it triggers a biological response known as the gaze bond. This diagram illustrates the interspecies oxytocin-mediated positive loop. As the two look at each other, the brain chemical oxytocin, which regulates trust and affection, spikes simultaneously in both the human and the dog. Dogs successfully utilize the same chemical circuitry that human mothers use to bond with their infants. Humans have relied on these specific sensory abilities for generations, integrating canine tracking and acoustic mapping directly into our survival, security, and daily work. The capacity to smell time, map a room with sound, manipulate facial expressions, and trigger human oxytocin production are the results of 15,800 years of shared survival. By integrating these specialized facial muscles and neurochemical feedback loops, dogs built a biological bridge into the human experience. This relationship represents a unique outcome of shared survival and genetic adaptation. The history of the dog is the story of an apex predator that systematically dismantled its own wild instincts to perfectly fit the human ecosystem. This deep reliance on human intervention is an advanced evolutionary strategy, programmed directly into the canine genome to ensure shared survival. Thermal tracking noses, empathy-triggering muscles, and a brain that prioritizes human contact over independent survival. Subscribe for more deep dives into the science that defines our world.